Y'all read the title. About to get into it. It's about to go down, y'all. So here we go. It's a fact. I just gotta call it what it is. You got different kinds of people in the penitentiary. Not many. Because the majority, I would say, and it's just obviously a guess, but I would say 85 to 90% of the people in prison are the people who were taken who live in who grew up in environments that's where you end up. Me included. Basically, they grew up throwing rocks at the penitentiary. Whether that be your drug dealers, whether that be your stick-up kids, your gangbangers, your typical people from those type of walks of life. But within that other 10 to 15%, that's where the diversity comes in. You got your offenders, you know what kind I'm talking about. You got your guys that just one and done, you know. This will be their only bit. Just made a mistake. Good guys never got in trouble. So, you know, I was locked up with a guy never got in trouble in his life. Just graduated from college. He was 23 years old. He was coming home from a graduation party and he was drunk and he caused a wreck and he killed somebody. Shit like that. He's a good dude. He just made a mistake. But I would say up to 65 to 75% of all prisons everywhere are perverted. Perverts are the majority. You know, when you're locked up all day, you want entertainment. You might want to read a book or a magazine, watch a movie, listen to some music, shit like that. So when I talk about not being able to get a good magazine or a good book because all the magazines are ripped up because every female in them are hanging on somebody's wall somewhere, or every good reading book, I don't care if it's a fucking book this thick, if it's got one sex scene in it, it's in somebody's cell somewhere. Every time I don't understand, to you guys out there married with females working in any jail, I understand being comfortable with yourself. I get that. And not having to be overbearing or controlling. And I understand a woman's gonna do what a woman wants to do. But there's no way in fuck I'll be okay with my woman working in a jail. Not here. I've seen it from the other side. I know what she's gonna have to go to even if she go through even if she don't entertain it. Women go to work. Good women. I know women who don't come in there and they don't fuck with nobody. But they'll see 200 dicks every day. I don't gotta name names. I put up the list of the women walked out of Toledo prison. But I encourage anybody out there, if you know a female working in a prison in Ohio and they're honest, if they tell you I'm lying, they're probably fucking somebody in there. Every female CO in the state of Ohio, except the ones that are known to book shit, because you got those ones. You pull your dick out on certain ones, and they'll book you. You'll be on the first thing smoking up out that bitch. But the Jack boys know who them are. They know who to get and who not to get. That being said, them same female COs gotta work in SAG too. Them guys in the hole are already in the hole. They don't give a fuck. So every time, you got guys who will go on suicide watch on purpose. Because the suicide watch cell is glass. It's all see-through. And they're naked anyway. You're not allowed to have anything that you could harm yourself with. And you can hang yourself with your clothes. So you're in there butt-ass naked with what they call a turtle suit. It's just a Velcro strap schmuck. And that's all they do. They hope to God they catch a female. And at Toledo prison, there's a good chance because there's more women that work there than men. Or it's equal. I know booty bandits who used to cut their pockets. They would cut their pockets out of their pants. And the seam in between your pant legs, they would pick the threads out so they would have a hole in their crotch about that long. And they'll go to the library or the chow hall or the gym or classroom. And with that pocket being cut out, they can reach all the way through to their shit. And they'll stick it out that hole. And nobody can even tell what they're doing. Do your research on how many people have been rolled out of Toledo prison for doing that very act in the library. It's so bad in Mansfield that if you go to the chow hall, the whole wall to the right, when you're walking in line to get your tray, is a big ass wall of mug shots of people who have been written up in that prison for masturbating when a female CO was doing a round. It got to the point to where ODRC issued memos in every prison saying from now on we're going to start making you guys register and charging you as sex offenders if you get rolled up for this. It didn't stop them. Every prison I've ever been at in Ohio has had a block that prison calls San Francisco or Peter Beach. You've ever heard of Peter Beach? That's the block where all the gays go to so they can be with their man. And there's a block like that in every prison I've ever been to. If you go to Lebanon, it's called Freaky Frank. The only prison that wasn't like that was Lucasville, and that's because it's a maximum security prison. You're in your cell most of the day anyway. You can't get access to nobody like that except at RAC. So it's so bad that they took 2 whole prisons in Ohio and made them sex offender prisons. When you catch a sex case in Ohio, you got to do a program. They send you to either Belmont or Chillicothe. And you got to stay at that prison until you complete your sex offender program. So the perversion in Ohio is so bad that they had to take the biggest prison, Chillicothe, which holds up to 4,500 inmates. I don't know if that's how many are there, but it holds that many. It's a city. Chillicothe's so big, when you pull into it, it's got street signs. It's huge. The COs have to drive golf carts and bikes. And the sex offenders, the perversion in Ohio is so bad that they had to make that whole prison a sex offender camp. Now, I'm not saying everybody there is a sex offender, but I'm saying every sex offender has to go there, or Belmont. So they took the biggest prison in Ohio and a whole other prison that holds 2,500 more and made that a sex offender camp. So think about that next time you want to catch a case in Ohio.